There's also a chat window to the side. What I've seen other moderators do is they type in like wrap up or 30 seconds or something like that, and the presenters might see that in the side of their window.
Sure. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to our next presentation by Dr. Chael Shah, titled Outcomes of Pre-Existing Cardiovascular Disease Amongst COVID-19 Patients.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chael Shah. At present, I'm a cardiology observer rotating at Mount Sinai Hospital, New York. My team and I appreciate the opportunity that American Heart Association has given us to present our work on the outcomes of pre-existing cardiovascular disease amongst COVID-19 patients. Oh, sorry. We have nothing to disclose. Coming to the background of COVID-19, according to the data from CDC, there were reportedly more than 5 million cases of COVID-19. And as of today, there are more than 8 million cases reported in the United States. COVID-19 has multi-organ involvement, and it is believed that the outcomes are poor among patients with hypertension and pre-existing cardiovascular disorders. It was also found that COVID-19 can cause myocardial injury, which can lead to an elevation in the troponin levels, which was noticed in around 10% of hospitalized COVID-19 patients. But the percentage was much higher, and it was around 25 to 35% in patients that were severely ill with comorbid CVD. COVID-19 has also been found to cause lung involvement, causing pneumonia. And there were a few studies on patients with COVID-19 showed that severe pneumonia had a higher rate of pre-existing hypertension, diabetes, coronary heart disease as compared to those who develop non-severe pneumonia. The primary aim of the study is to identify the prevalence of pre-existing hypertension and CVD amongst COVID-19 hospitalized patients. The secondary aim of the study is to evaluate the outcomes, that is, mortality and invasive mechanical ventilation utilization of COVID-19 in patients with pre-existing hypertension and CVD. Now, coming to the method. So the type of study is a systematic review and meta-analysis. We used search strategy and selection criteria using mesh terms, COVID-19 or coronavirus or SARS-CoV-2 or 2019 nCoV. And we used December 1st, 2019 to July 31st, 2020 dates following MOOS guidelines and used the inclusion and exclusion criteria. So in the inclusion criteria, observation studies that describe the characteristics of COVID-19 and outcomes, literature that was in English, then articles or literature basically which had pre-existing comorbidities like CVD or hypertension, and that measured outcomes on invasive mechanical ventilation and mortality were included, while literature other than observational studies, non-English literature, non-full text, and animal studies were excluded. So on the right-hand side, there is basically a table which is basically showing how we use the MOOS guidelines to get the article, which were used for the meta-analysis. So when we use the mesh term, basically there were around 40,887 studies. And then after using the inclusion and exclusion criteria, there were around 345 studies. But there were these few studies that were not having the full text article, and there was some missing information on the COVID-19 outcomes or hypertension, CVD, or on the outcomes like mortality and invasive mechanical ventilation. So they were all excluded. So finally, we were able to get around 29 articles, which were basically a part of the meta-analysis. So coming to the data collection. We collected data on outcomes like mortality and need for mechanical ventilation using pre-specific data collection templates and presented the study characteristics like the publication year, the country of origin, sample size, and extracted data on the outcomes like mechanical ventilation utilization and mortality. We used comprehensive meta-analysis software for the analysis purpose. Meta-regression was performed to evaluate the effects of pre-existing CVD and hypertension on outcomes, that was mortality and need of mechanical ventilation of COVID-19 patients. Pooled prevalence and correlation coefficient with its 95% confidence interval, odds ratio with corresponding 95% confidence interval, statistical heterogeneity across studies were pooled using a random effects model. Age-adjusted and unadjusted meta-regressions were performed. So the right side, there are these two tables that we can see is basically showing the number of studies, which were in total 29 that were a part of our meta-analysis. And you can also see the study with the year they were published along with the country, the sample size, the study design, the mean age of the patients that were part of the study, the adverse outcomes, and the pre-existing conditions, whether it was CVD or hypertension. So out of the 29 studies, 14 studies had details on hypertension and mortality. 13 studies had data on hypertension and mechanical ventilation use. 16 studies had data on CVD and mortality, and 14 studies had data on CVD and mechanical ventilation use. Pooled prevalence for hypertension was 28.2%, and for pre-existing CVD was 12.2%. Age-adjusted meta-regression analysis has shown the need for mechanical ventilation was significantly higher among COVID-19 patients with pre-existing CVD. The correlation is equal to 0.28, odds ratio of 1.3 with 95% confidence interval from 1.1 to 1.6 with significant heterogeneity of 89.7%. Hypertension was not having any significant association with invasive mechanical ventilation. So coming to the figure on the right-hand side, the x-axis is showing in each study the percentage of people with hypertension, and the y-axis is showing the need for mechanical ventilation. Similarly, in the bottom figure, the x-axis is in each study shows the percentage of the people with CVD, and the y-axis is showing the need for mechanical ventilation. Now, each circle represents a study, and the size of the circle basically represents the sample size. Hence, bigger the circle, bigger the sample size, and vice versa. The total number of patients were 27,950 as per the table which was in the previous slide. And the circle and the size of the circle along with the center line is representing a linearity between those two variables. Age-adjusted meta-regression analysis for evaluation of mortality shows hypertension and pre-existing CVD had no significant association with mortality among COVID-19 patients. As we can see that the odds ratio is 1 and the p-value was not significant. Now the figure below shows that on the x-axis, it's representing hypertension and CVD, and on the y-axis, it's basically representing the outcomes, that is mortality. And as you can see in the figure, there's a straight line. It shows that there's no correlation between the x and the y-axis variable. So the conclusion. So in the age-adjusted analysis, though we identified the pre-existing CVD as a risk factor for highest utilization of invasive mechanical ventilation, pre-existing CVD and hypertension had no independent role in increasing the mortality. The strengths of our study were to our knowledge, that this is the first large study which is showing meta-regression of 29 studies, both in the United States and outside the United States, that try to demonstrate the association between hypertension and pre-existing CVD and poor outcomes. The limitations of our study was that there was a high heterogeneity, missing details on severity of these risk factors, adjustment with confounders and covariate, and long-term follow-up that was lacking. The clinical relevance of the study is our findings may provide insight into the designing models for early identification of high-risk patients without creating unnecessary panic and prioritizing their treatment based on the disease severity. What can be the future application of this study? More prospective studies should be planned to evaluate the role of concurrent comorbidities with hypertension and CVD and composite effects of these comorbidities on outcome. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you so much for that excellent presentation, Dr. Shah. And of course, it is surprising based on what we know so far about the disease and the associations with comorbidities and outcomes. In your study, you mentioned that you looked at studies from the United States and internationally. Did you see any difference in your outcomes by location of the study? For example, we know that early in the pandemic, a lot of the studies were from China and Italy. And as the pandemic has moved on to other parts of the world, things may be different.
To my knowledge, we didn't find any major change in the study, but I think my senior author, Dr. Patel, maybe he's also here, maybe he can answer that question better for you.
Hi, Dr. Roderick. Here is Urvish
Great,
Patel.
Dr. Patel. Any thoughts on that? And I know it looks like your data collection stopped in April,
Yeah.
so it's possible that you can add more studies to the meta-analysis.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Roderick. Here it's Urvish Patel. And yeah, that is a good suggestion. And that suggestion we received that you should do the subgroup analysis by US and non-US countries, keeping two different groups and doing same analysis and see whether what is the difference between the same outcome in US compared to same outcomes in non-US. So we have collected the studies for meta-analysis. This is meta-regression, so we have collected for meta-analysis, and then in the manuscript writing part, we are considering not only publishing meta-regression, but also meta-analysis with the stratified with the risk factor, especially age and race, as well as the country of origin. Basically, the study which country of origin into US and non-US.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. And it may also be interesting to look at temporal associations, early in the pandemic versus a more recent analyses.
Yeah, okay, that is interesting.
It looks like we don't have any questions on the chat. So thank you so much, Dr. Shah, for that excellent presentation. We're going to move on to the second to last presentation. And this presentation is from Dr. Jiajing An, titled Association of Angiotensin Converting Enzyme Inhibitors